Gotta thank Yahweh for being the chosen seed of Israel. Here's the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Yah and the faith of Mashiach. Whoa, yeah. I gotta thank Yahweh for being the chosen seed of Israel. Here's the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Yah and the faith of the Mashiach.
Shalom, Zion. So this particular video is way behind. I've been wanting to do this one for almost over a year now. Just haven't gotten to it because I have a lot to show you, and this is going to be a really nice treat. So I'm calling this one, They Hid It from Yah's Chosen People. You know, when I was in Europe some years ago, you know, one of my biggest things to do were to go visit a lot of the cathedrals that was throughout Europe in the museums. And I was just fascinated with these structures, not because I was fascinated with the paganism that was shrouded in these buildings, but because of what they tried to hide from us. And when I used to go visit these cathedrals and all these museums they had in Europe, something that stood out to my amazement, and I noticed that a lot of the paintings were black images, you know, so-called black images of the apostles, of so-called Christ, what the world calls Christ, and others, you know, the Black Madonna and what have you. And especially in Poland. I was in Poland for a couple of months, and I'm going to show you some pictures that I've actually taken when I was in Poland. But you'll be pretty amazed, you know, how just they still have a lot of the original paintings. A lot of these paintings are in museums, you know, and you can find a lot of them online. You know, one thing about the heathens, they record everything, you know, and I guess that's to our advantage because, you know, everything that they do, they keep record of it. Even the ones they try to hide from us, they keep record of it. So it's just interesting though that we can, if you just dig a little bit, you can find this stuff. And if you ever go to those countries over there, go and check out some of those museums and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so if you got your Bibles with you, go ahead and turn to 1 Maccabees. 1 Maccabees, and we're going to go to chapter 3, and we're going to go down to verse 48. So 1 Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 48, because it's something we must understand. This was prophesied that this would happen, that the heathens would take their paintings, they would take the paintings, our people faces, and paint them as like unto themselves. And that's why you see all these crazy Bible movies, everybody's pale, you know, everybody's white. They whitewashed everything. So let's look at verse 48. And laid open the sefer of the Torah, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. You know, and I find this very interesting because when you look all around us and you just, everything is just been turned white. They whited out everything because see, these elites, these world leaders, they know the truth. They know who the true people of the Most High are. And so, yes, they're going to do everything they can to blind the whole world. But you see that's being revealed. The Most High is snatching the veil, and he's letting his people see the real truth, the hidden truth. And see, this is white supremacy at its finest. If they can convince the whole world to believe that everybody in the Bible was white, then every child that had been born in this world will grow up believing that, including our own people who have this white, blue-eyed Jesus hanging in their homes, on their billboards, and on their church-stained windows. It's all over the place. And this thing is real, Zion. And why do you think a lot of our people, and especially, you know, I talk about race mixing a lot because this thing is just so serious. And I don't think we realize how serious it is. And many of our brothers, I'm not saying all our brothers, but many of our brothers and sisters are so brainwashed that they feel like the only way that they can have children is mingle with their slave master and have these babies because they hate themselves so much that they don't want to have children that look like them. Now that is a serious sickness, saints. And if you think that race mixing is not serious, let me show you something. And even after I show many people this, they still won't believe it. Let's go to Jasher. Jasher, the book of Jasher, chapter 4 and verse 18. And it says, and their judges and rulers went to the daughters of men and took their women by force from their men according to their choice. And the sons of men in those days took from the cattle of the earth the beasts of the field and the fowls of the air, and taught the mixture of animals of one species with the other, in order therewith to provoke Yahuwah. And Elohim saw the whole earth, and it was corrupt, for, get this, for all flesh had corrupted its ways upon earth, all men and animals. And it was this race mixing that destroyed the wicked during the flood. That's what did it. This thing is serious because race mixing destroys the Most High's creation. So we started all over with 8 people. And see, most people think that the Most High is about numbers. The Most High is not about numbers. He can multiply the whole earth with just a few people. So we better not get it twisted, Zion. That's why the Bible says that only a remnant are going to make it. So we better be praying hard. Now let me show y'all something here. So take a look at this picture right here. Now this is supposed to be the Virgin according to the heathens, but this is actually the Black Madonna. Now I want you to notice the little child with the fro that's sitting there, you know, in her arms. And that's supposed to be what they call, the one they call Christ. And so now you have this image, and you'll see a lot of these images. And when I was in Poland, I saw a lot of these images like that. Now you may find a few Madonnas like that that are painted white, but those are not the original paintings. The original paintings are the ones that are painted black, like you see here. So here's an example of a whitewashed version, and you can tell that it's not even authentic. It's not real. It's not the real, but it's supposed to be the Black Madonna. It's the same concept. It's the same paintings, but these are not the original ones. And the original ones you're going to see are the ones that are painted black. And however, you will see some of these sometimes in different places. Now, I know when I was in Europe, I did see some of these images. So like this image right here, this is what it's going to look like. If you see the Black Madonna, they're going to always be dark skinned paintings. And so they know the whole deal. They know all about the Bible characters. They know about our people being the true Hebrews. And they know that we still exist today, and that, you know, we've been hidden, and they know this. Now, even though these images that I'm showing you are shrouded in paganism, and this Black Madonna and the child goes all the way back to Egypt, but see, the world elites, they know that at one time the world was black. You know, the first non-melanated people did not come on the scene till hundreds of years after Abraham. And that has been historically proven. Now, this picture you see right here, I took with my own camera when I was in Warsaw, Poland. And you can see this is more a little whitewashed, but there were some other ones that I really couldn't get to that were much darker than this. And so, you know, Poland, Warsaw, Poland is probably the closest to Russia that I'll ever get. So, but you'll see a lot of these images just throughout Europe, you know, and I was just, you know, amazed. And some are actually darker than the other ones, but we know that the original ones are actually dark paintings. And like I said before, you know, this is what they refer to as the Virgin Mary, but this Black Madonna goes way back. You know, there's a lot of historical, and you know, all you gotta do is just do your research, and you'll see how far it really goes back and everything. And you know, you can find this image all over the world. You know, and they claim that it's about 400 to 500 Black Madonnas just in Europe, you know, but it's probably a lot more than that, those paintings and everything. But you know, I was thinking about the Vatican, and I bet you know, I mean, I know none of us has never been over there, in their little chambers to see what all they have hidden under the Vatican. But I bet you they got images that will blow our minds. And I'm telling you, this, things are just shrouded in secrecy. And that's why these nations have to go, Zion. They have to end. The Most High is going to destroy them because of what they've done. And, there's still truth out there that are being revealed. Even unto this day, things are being uncovered. So we're starting to see more of the light, because everything that was done in the darkness is starting to come to the light. All right, so look at this next one right here. So this is supposed to be the Black Messiah. And that's what I'm talking about. These world leaders, they know the real deal. And they know that our people, the people who were living in the Middle East during those days, were dark-skinned people. They were Hebrews. You didn't have no pale, non-melanated people living over there during that time. Why do you think those fake Khazars that are living in Jerusalem right now are suffering from skin cancer? And it's tearing their butts up. But they try to hide it. They try to hide that stuff. And they don't want us to know the truth. And, it kills me sometimes when people try to say that our Hamashiach was olive color. Well, olive comes in 3 colors. You got green, you got dark brown, and you got black, jet black. So which one is it? Let me show you what the word of Yahuwah says. Revelation 1:14 and 15. His head and his hairs were white like wool. White like wool, as white as snow. And his eyes were as a flame of fire. And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. Now, that don't look like no green olive color to me. And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. And his voice as a sound of many waters. Daniel chapter 10 and verse 6. His body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like in the color to polish brass. Does that sound like a non-melanated person to you? And the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude. There's no denying it, Zion. You can't hide the truth forever. Whatever's done in the darkness is eventually going to come to the light. And see, here's another one. And you see, and this is something about the heathens, Heathens, they blend everything with paganism. I mean, everything. And the heathens would blend paganism with a bowl of soup. And that's how much intertwined they love to blend paganism. So everything we see, like all the images, even when you see the black images, a lot of them are shrouded in paganism. You'll see the sun halos around their head. That's a bunch of religious stuff that goes all the way back to Babylon. All right, here's another one. And you can find a ton of these images, Zion. I mean, one thing I said earlier about the heathens, they document everything. They don't leave anything undocumented, and that can be to our advantage. So if our people would just do the research and dig and study, they can find a lot of these images. And once our people begin to wake up and they begin to dig and study for themselves, it's like everything that you've ever learned, everything that was ever told to us is a lie. And you start to realize that, and our perception is completely different. We don't even look at one another the same anymore. Growing up, we used to always be against our brothers, our sisters, because we grew up in this white supremacist environment that taught us to hate ourselves. And that's where, a lot of our people are still there. A lot of our people have not learned to come out of that mindset. We're still in the matrix. We're plugged. And a lot of our people refuse to be unplugged. So when you look at these images right here, look how dark they are. Because, I'm telling you, the world leaders, they know the truth about our people. But then you see the halos because they like to blend paganism with everything, even the dark icons. And you see the halos over their heads. And you know it's interesting because when I was growing up, I used to always wonder why they had this little glowing halo over their heads, you know. And then I started to do the research and learned that all of these halos, what it is, it's a representation of sun worship, paganism, pagan and sun imagery. And this stuff goes all the way back to Egypt. And see, that's why a lot of your Hotep brothers and sisters, the ones who are into Egyptology, you know, they worship all that crap. They deny our Elohim. They deny who they are as a chosen people. And they follow after these heathens' gods, the gods of the Hamites. And that's why many of our people are going to just be a lost cause, because they rather worship the creation rather than the Most High himself. And see, that's the sign of the true living Elohim. When we worship him, everything he made was for us, and we are not to worship the creation. That's paganism. And that breaks the first commandments. No other gods before me. And these Hotep brothers and sisters, that's all they do is break the first commandment. Check out this little paragraph right here. It says, all Christians celebrate December 25th as the birthday of their God. That's right, that's what they do, and they don't even realize what they're doing. It says, do you ever celebrate the pagan day called Christmas? All Christians meet on Sunday as their holy day. All Christians celebrate Easter, Ishtar. Ever attend an Easter sunrise service? 25th December is the pagan rebirth of the sun god day, going back to Semiramis and baby Tammuz of the nativity scene. And you know, and it's crazy because our people, the main ones sitting up in these black churches, sucking it in, worshiping their God, as they call it. You know, ignorant is bliss, as they say. So look at these halos that are around these images and everything. I mean, this stuff goes back, Zion. I mean, this stuff is so wicked, and our people can't even see it. All this paganism shrouded in everything. And it's like, that's why you have to really test everything, because, you know, so much stuff is shrouded in paganism. And, you know, you just got to be alert. We got to be alert. We got to be constantly watching. And don't be partaking in anything that you don't even know about. You know, research it first and find out what the meaning behind the whole thing is. You know, because a lot of times people do stuff at jobs. They want you to participate in that, this, and a lot of this stuff has paganistic roots involved with it. You know, and a lot of our people don't even know. They do it so ignorantly. So it's all out there, Zion. You know, and it's not hard to figure out. Paganism is all around us. You just gotta look around. You'll see it. Check out this one. Same thing, dark image, but it's shrouded in paganism. You see the cross of Tammuz. You see him doing the hand sign. See that little hand sign he's doing? And then he has the halo around his head. You're not gonna find one dark image of our people that's not shrouded in some kind of paganism in one form or the other. You know, it's gonna always be shrouded in some kind of paganism or symbols or something. So, but I bet you that the real paintings that they have of our people are probably hidden under the Vatican in a vault somewhere. See, they don't want the world to see that. And they want us to see this. They want us to see all the paganism shrouded in our people. But they do know our people are the original Hebrews back then and are still today. The original Hebrews. The black people, the Negroes scattered to the four corners of the earth. And they know this. Now look at this black icon. And notice the halos around their heads to represent Tammuz, the son of Nimrod, who was born 25th December, of which the heathens celebrate as Christmas. And then look at the little baby at the very top. The little baby has the halo. That's supposed to be Tammuz. And see, they know the world was black at one time. They know that there were no non-melanated people on the planet during that time. They knew that there were no non-melanated people hundreds of years after Abraham. So, you know, don't let these people fool you into thinking that they were always here. They know that. Why do you think they paint all these pictures all these black images of us because they knew at one time the whole world was black. And this whole fear of a black planet is starting to come into play. Now look at this one. This is a carving. This is supposed to be the ancient Babylonians. Now the heathens cannot alter or hide this because, these were done thousands of years ago. And you look at the formation, you look at the hairstyle, those are like braids, those are nappy, kinky braids. And look at them, they knew that those people were black. And see, and that's the thing, all around the world, there's evidence of black people, so-called dark-skinned people dwelling on the earth. Now, this is supposedly our people during the Babylonian captivity. You can see the fringes going down the garments. You can see the cornrows or whatever they are, the little dreads they have. The features, look at the jawbones, high cheekbones. You can't deny this, Zion. You cannot deny this stuff. And for the heathens to have hidden this for so long, and it's interesting because, when we go through school, what's the first thing you learn? You learn European history. European history is all we've learned growing up because we are in the land of our enemies. So why would they want to tell us the truth? Why would they want to give us the true evidence of who we are? Because it would mean that their supremacy would be diminished, And that's why Malcolm X said what he said. Even an enemy, you would be a fool to send your children to your enemies to be taught. All right, look at this one, another black painting. Now that thing you see in the background with the little colors like a rainbow, that's a halo, but it's engulfing all of them in the background, and you can see that. And so that's what I'm talking about. Everything that they've ever painted, they shrouded in some kind of paganism. But they do know that our people are black. They know that the chosen people of the Most High are black. They are Negroes. And they might not come out and admit that, but they put it out in like codes and that kind of stuff. And they put it out in their little Hollywood movies to tease us and what have you. And they throw all these little clues out, but we still don't get it. We don't see it because we don't want to believe it because we've been brainwashed to the point of no return, some of us. Now look at these Mayan headstones. Look at the features on this. Who has lips like that, Zion? There are no non-melanated people that have lips like this unless they get lip implants. And even with that, they still can't get them that big. Only melanated people have lips like this. Different sizes. We're not all like this, of course, but you know what I'm saying. And you look at these features and these places are all over. And this is what I'm talking about. You cannot deny this stuff. And you'll find a lot of these headstones in Mexico, Central America, throughout that area, in those regions. And it's amazing. And some of them even have the noses and lips knocked off, And, we know why they try to do that because they've always wanted to try to hide the truth from everybody. Not just our people, but everybody. And they don't want us to know who they really were and what color they were. But, they can't hide that because the Most High has been revealing things to us day by day. Let me give you an example of that. I don't know if y'all remember recently, I think it's like 3 or 4 months ago, might have been a little longer than that, they discovered a 4,400-year-old tomb. Now, that's what they said. I wouldn't be surprised that if they had already discovered it years before and they were just now revealing it to the public. But what caught my attention was the fact that all the little carvings they had in the walls, you can tell that these people, that ancient Egypt, were black people. And like I said, you can't deny that kind of stuff. It's engraved in the walls and everything. So I thought it was pretty amazing how they were coming across all that stuff and they were showing the public what they just discovered, of a 4,400-year-old tomb. So I want you to check this clip out right quick and pay close attention to the features.
After doing our excavations, we left the last layer of debris. When we took it 2 days ago, we found 5 new sealed shafts. It explains a lot. Why didn't we find any objects for this guy? It means that his objects should be in those shafts. How about his burial chamber? Should be in a shaft. How about his treasures, his objects, his statues, his family furniture, stuff like this, should be in the shafts. This is the shaft, and we can see the remains of the chiseling tools in the 4 corners. It's obvious clear. So according to the sounds, it seems that this one is full of debris, but I can imagine that all the objects, or most of it, will be found, inshallah, here in this area. The shaft, it leads to, should be, a coffin or a sarcophagus of the owner of the tomb. فيها كل مميزات الدولة القديمة، فيها كل خصائص الدولة القديمة.
And you see, Zion, this is only the beginning. You know, all over the world, there are being new discoveries, proving that this world was a black world at one time. You know, they don't want to really admit it, but you cannot hide the truth. It's only so long that this truth is going to just come out and everybody's going to see it. And when it comes to our awakening, it's the same thing, Zion. No one's going to be able to stop that. I don't care how much money they spend, how much religion they try to induce our people with. You're not going to stop this train. The Most High is the one who's in charge. He is the orchestrator of this whole thing. And he has it right in the palm of his hands. And all the moving pieces are coming together. They're slowly coming together, but they're coming together, Zion. So just be patient, continue to be strong, study that word, and work out our salvation with fear and trembling. Because we got to be ready when this thing pops off, and whenever that's going to be. And like I always like to say, little by little, like the scripture reads. And that's what's going to happen. So don't expect anything to happen right offhand tomorrow, next week, next year, within the next few years. It's going to gradually, we're going to see things happening, Zion. So just stay encouraged. So with that being said, I say shalom and stay strong.
I gotta thank Yahweh for being the chosen seed of Israel. Here's the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Yah and the faith of Mashiach. Whoa, yeah. I gotta thank Yahweh for being the chosen seed of Israel. Here's the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Yah and the faith of the Mashiach. Yeah, whoa. I'm here to encourage you, brothers and sisters, trying to paint to you a better picture. Everything I say, I back it up with the scriptures to get you out the matrix. It's been over 400 years of life. You gotta open up your eyes, 'cause there's so many reasons we in captivity. You gotta flee from the heathens. There is hope in our future, Even though they trying to do a scene, but we live to fight another day. Vengeance is Yah. We'll be praying for Yah'S. Gotta thank Yahweh for being the chosen seed of Israel. Here's the patience of the saints. Whoa. Here are they that keep the commandments of Yah, and the faith of Mashiach. Oh, yeah. I gotta thank Yahweh for being the chosen seed of Israel. Here's the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Yah, and the faith of the Mashiach. Do